You've probably met someone who seemed perfect. They looked amazing, they spoke confidently, they seemed kind, and in the beginning, everything just felt right. But then, as time went on, little things didn't quite add up. The red flags were there, but you didn't see them. Or maybe you saw them and ignored them. Psychologists call this the halo effect, one of the most powerful and dangerous biases in love. In this video, we're going to break down the psychology of the halo effect, why we ignore red flags when we're attracted to someone, how our brains create an illusion of perfection, and how to see clearly before it's too late. Stay until the end, because I'll share 3 powerful psychology-based strategies to protect yourself from falling for the wrong person again. The halo effect is a psychological phenomenon where one positive trait, like beauty, charm, or confidence, creates an overall impression that makes us believe someone is better than they actually are. In other words, when we like one thing about a person, we assume we'll like everything about them. It's the reason why attractive or charismatic people are often perceived as more honest, intelligent, or kind, even when there's no real evidence. This bias doesn't just affect dating. It shapes how we judge celebrities, leaders, influencers, and even strangers. But in love, it can be devastating. The human brain loves shortcuts. Every day we make thousands of judgments, and our brain uses patterns to save time. When someone looks good, our brain automatically assumes good equals safe. This process happens in milliseconds before logic even kicks in. Neuroscience shows that attraction activates the brain's reward system, the same areas triggered by sugar, money, or drugs. When this happens, your brain floods with dopamine, making you feel pleasure, trust, and excitement. That's why the early stages of attraction feel like being high. You're literally seeing the other person through a chemical filter, and that's how the halo effect blinds us. Let's make this real. Imagine this. You meet someone who's confident, well-dressed, and funny. Instantly, your brain builds a whole story around them. They must be successful, kind, loyal, emotionally mature. But none of that has been proven. It's assumed. That's the halo effect. You fill in the blanks with what you want to believe. It's why people often fall for narcissists or emotionally unavailable partners, because charm, confidence, and attention mimic emotional intelligence. So why do we ignore red flags, even when they're right in front of us? 1. Emotional investment. Once you've decided someone is good, your brain resists evidence that challenges that belief. Psychologists call this confirmation bias. We notice what confirms our belief and ignore what contradicts it. 2. Chemical highs. During the honeymoon phase, your brain releases dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin, chemicals that bond you and make you overlook flaws. 3. Projection. We often project our own ideals onto people. You don't fall for them. You fall for who you think they could be. 4. Fear of being wrong. Once you've told yourself they're amazing, admitting the truth feels painful, so you rationalize, excuse, or minimize their behavior. The halo effect doesn't just make us overlook small flaws. It can make us ignore serious danger. It's why people stay in toxic relationships long after the signs appear. The brain clings to the idealized version of the person, not who they've actually become. We convince ourselves they're just stressed. It's not like them to act this way. It'll get better. But that's not love. That's the halo effect protecting our emotional investment. Your susceptibility to the halo effect also depends on your emotional history. If you grew up associating love with inconsistency or chaos, you may idealize people who give you brief highs followed by withdrawal. If you struggle with low self-esteem, you might see someone's attention as validation, making you ignore red flags to keep their approval. Insecure attachment styles often amplify the halo effect. You fall for potential, not patterns. When the halo effect kicks in, it can feel like destiny. Everything about the person feels aligned. Your values, your humor, even your timing. Psychologists call this instant affinity, the illusion of deep connection created by surface-level similarities. But here's the truth. It's not love. It's projection. You're not seeing them as they are. You're seeing what your brain wants them to be. That's why early relationships often crash when the dopamine wears off and reality sets in. So how do you protect yourself from falling into this trap? 1. Slow down the story. The halo effect thrives on speed. The faster you idealize someone, the stronger the bias becomes. Take time to observe, not assume. 2. Separate facts from feelings. Write down what you know versus what you feel. For example, they make me laugh. Fact versus they must be kind and loyal. Assumption. 3. Ask, what's the evidence? When you find yourself defending someone's behavior, pause and ask, what has this person done to earn my trust? 4. Get external perspective. Friends often see red flags you can't. The halo effect distorts your view. Outside perspectives reintroduce logic. The opposite of the halo effect is the horn effect, when one negative trait causes us to view someone as entirely bad. This bias can make us dismiss people too quickly. That's why awareness matters both ways, to avoid falling for the wrong person and missing a good one. Balance comes from curiosity, seeing people as complex, not perfect or flawed. The goal isn't to stop feeling attraction, it's to see attraction clearly. Real love requires discernment. It's not about falling for perfection, but about recognizing imperfection and still choosing connection with eyes open. When you learn to see people as they are, not as your brain paints them, you build relationships rooted in truth, not illusion. And that's where real love begins. So why do we ignore red flags in love? Because of the halo effect, the brain's habit of turning small glimmers of goodness into full-blown fantasies. It's not stupidity, it's psychology. But the more self-aware you become, the less power it has over you. Love isn't about seeing someone as perfect. It's about seeing them clearly and still choosing them. So tell me, have you ever fallen for the halo effect? Did you see the red flags but convince yourself it was love? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience could help someone else wake up to the truth. And if this video helped you understand yourself and your relationships more deeply, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more insights into love and psychology here at LoveLogic Lab UK. Because love isn't magic, it's science. And when you understand the psychology behind it, you stop falling for illusions and start finding truth.